So let's start. So basically Azure Active Directory. So before we start the Azure Active Directory, some complementary knowledge required from on-prem Active Directory. Because on-prem Active Directory come first, later on the Azure Active Directory coming. So basically Active Directory, it's deal with your identity services. Identity services in terms of identify you and give you the services. That is the purely options. Okay, like for example, whenever you are entering in your office premises, so you have to carry your office ID card. So manually people will identify you by your ID card, and later on they will allow you inside the go premises. But in the building sections, you have to touch your ID in your ID pad sections, and then it will be door will open. So this is kind of you verifying your identity, right? So the same thing, it's coming from on premises and then Azure Active Directory. Is that clear?
Yes.
Perfect. So let's say this is one of my file servers. This is one of my web servers, and this is one of my other application servers. Now one of the users trying to access the file server, then how will able to do it? Every time he first have to access the file server, then again he come and access the web server, and then again he come and access the application server. Why? Because there is no one centralized identity provider available, and that is the reason every time he have to log in individually. So guys, I'm not sure you guys understood work group or domain based concept. So in work group based concept, like your cyber cafe, okay, in cyber cafe, that's all the machines, it's secure by the local administrator password, right? Like you, me, any other third persons can go and enjoy internet browsing. But just think of it, if I supposed to come in your office, will I able to access your office machines or
No.
office desktop? Why? Because I am not the part of your domain users or your domain employee. If I supposed to log in with my name, I will not be permitted, and it will be denied by your identity services. Who is that services? It's Active Directory. Forget about the Azure Active Directory. It's an Active Directory, on premises Active Directory, right? Now if I will be part of your members of your office member or your company's users, then I can easily once at a time my identity will be verified, and it will be verified that I am the person green. Now the same point user can access each and every services. So in that case the drawing picture will be look like this. In that case the picture will be look like this. Okay, let's draw the pictures. This is the work group models, and this is the domain based model. Okay. Now, what do you mean by this two picture? This is figure 1 and this is figure 2. What do you mean by this two picture? Bhupender, can you please tell me what do you mean by these two picture?
From figure 1 we can see if we send any request to the user and we can get authentication from that particular server or thing, then we can able to access this one from figure 1.
No, generally I am telling you, here there is no such authentication going on. That means, let's say this is a file server, this is a application server, this is a web server. Every time you need to get authenticate, or every time you have to put your login authentication locally, then this computer will verify your credential, then he allow you to access the services. The same thing here, you have to verify your local credential, then authenticate, then he will verify your services. Why? Because there is no concept of domain, right? There is no concept of domain. It is actually work on the work group model. Work group model. The clear example, it's the cyber cafe. In cyber cafe, any cyber cafe you visit, nowadays I'm not sure any cyber cafe available or not, because everyone, the internet and computer available everyone, and moreover that phone, internet, cheap is available now. So, but still, if the cyber cafe options available in a roadside, you will see that anyone can go and enjoy the internet, or anyone can go and log in that systems, because there is no centralized identity provided. Now, this is a figure 2. Figure 2 means user first have to authenticate centrally somewhere, and later on he can access any of these services flawlessly. That means this is my identity. Somewhere of this here, we have to give my identity information. He will verify and then he will allow me to access. Now what happened? It's, let's say, any of the walk-in user come, will he able to do it? Will he able to log in? No. How? Because these users already have the details inside the identity provider.
Correct.
But these users, it's a walk-in and there is no information that in the database, so he will not be able to. But once you get that services authenticate, you can easily log into any of these services. Clear?
Yes.
So this is our basic motto of identity services. Now the same identity can work in on-premises and Azure Active Directory as well. Now let's decide what are the things on-premises can do and what are the things Azure Active Directory can do. Generally, this is the users, user 1, user 2 and user 3. Now this is my Active Directory and this is the applications. So the same things, this is Azure Active Directory and this is the applications. So generally, if any users, let's say I'm telling about, let's say you want to access your company payroll sites to download your urgent pay slips, right? So definitely you have to log in your company websites, right? Once you log into your company websites, maybe the company sites means it's payroll.dell.com, right? So once you log into payroll.dell.com, then somewhere you have to provide your identity, username and password. Then who will verify this? Who will verify that you are the correct users? Definitely it is request come to your Active Directory. Now Active Directory will verify yes you are the access correct users. Then after verification, AD will give you the access to access your services, through where you can download your payslip, whatever your necessary things have to do. The same thing will do by Azure Active Directory for Azure users. Like when I am opening the portal.active directory, portal.azure.com. So here there is the options. Active Directory. Now in this Active Directory, if I click on my user options, you will get this all details. Okay, so just watch it. Name is Siddhartha Roy, email address is siddharoy1@outlook.com, and what about the directory? The default directory name is onmicrosoft.com, so my domain username is siddharoy1outlook.onmicrosoft.com. So this is my entire users FQDN with domain name in Active Directory. Clear?
Correct.
Because in onmicrosoft.com is my default directory domain name. Just see for here the tenant information, your role, as I am the subscriptions is built with my name. So here I am the global administrator. I can do anything. I can drop my subscriptions, I can renew my subscriptions, I can create directory, I can delete directory, whatever enormous things I can do, because my role is global administrator. Clear?
Yes.
If you click on more information there, in the more information, what the things you need to learn? You need to learn about this global administrator groups, and these particular groups I am the member of it, so I can do anything. If I remove from these groups, right, if I select it and remove, because I cannot, because subscription with my name, I cannot remove myself from here, right? But later on, if I add, let's say I can create one user with Bhupender, and I add you Bhupender, so I can add you, remove you, add, because subscription with registered with my name, so I am an inbuilt global administrator. So in Active Directory, this is my tenant ID. Tenant means generally Active Directory deals with directory, and in Azure it is told as tenant. Okay, so the primary domain name is siddharoy1outlook.onmicrosoft.com. this is my domain name, primary domain name, right? So let's say if I go to the users, I do not have any users apart from my ID. Let's create one users. So here you can create user or you can invite users. Invite user means if I want that one of my student, he don't have any credit cards, so for the timing I want to give my access, so I can invite him so that he can practice that all those stuff. So I can invite users or I can create users, right? So this way. So now let's the username is Bhupinder. Spelling is right?
No problem.
What is your spelling? BHU?
BHOOPENDRA.
Okay, BHOOPENDRA. Bhupendra. Okay, Bhupendra. So Bhupendra, username Bhupendra, and sorry, Bhupendra. And what is your first name? Sorry.
First name is the name.
First is the Bhupendra. And second, last name?
Misra. MISHRA.
HRA. So Bhupendra Misra. Okay. So I am creating that. The username is Bhupendra M. Okay. Now see, once I click on it Bhupendra M, if I create this users, now this options auto generated passwords, or let me create the password. There's a two options, right? If I select the auto generate password, next time will you able to, when we are trying to access this portal, it will automatically generate the password. Or if I create the let me create the password, then I can create the password for you. And as of now, there is a group's role, nothing is defined. By default, you are the users, right? Settings option, block sign in or usage sign in, whatever I need to do. Usage locations, which options you have to do, that I can do. So after create this users, now Bhupender is created. Now see that Bhupender ID and domain name. Bhupendra is Bhupendra M @siddharoy1 outlook.onmicrosoft.com. So this is your domain. Under this domain the user was created. Clear?
Yes.
And that users I can delete, but from my users, okay, so in my users Siddharoy, okay, so let's Bhupendra. Now this users I have created in my Azure Active Directory tenant. Now if I want to see that users, how, when he will able to log in, when he created any kind of access, so in that case what I need to go, I'll go to the sign in options, and sign in options I have to check that every time the login user is Siddharoy. Now first login he have created 7, then again he have login 13, again he have login 13. So this is my total login information. Got it? Total
Yes.
login informations. Perfect. There is a
Location.
location. That means Azure somewhat detecting the location, but it's the wrong location. I'm not in Tala, I'm in Biala. But anyway,
Okay.
so this is the audit log options. In audit log options, when you will get the all information about the user management, the user gets success or not. Yes, that I have created one users Bhupendra, that's it. Any kind of bulk operations you have given or not, all the sets here. Now if I go to the user settings, now here I have options, that's which kind of things I provide. App registration, user can register the application, or administration portal, restrict access of Azure AD portal. So here I can provide that users, it's called RBAC, role based access control, because I have created one users, and now that users a part of my on-prem Azure Active Directory, and what I am supposed to do, I can do that. Clear? This is called role-based access control. Clear? Now if I want to supposed to select that users, and then okay, just a minute, there is options, profiles, open there, assign role. Yes, from this assigned roles I can add assignments. What are the assignment? That the user is the application administrator, or user is a application developer, or user is simulator administrator. Whatever the roles in your entire infrastructure, all those as available. Based on the role I define, the user will be have the access. So this is called role based access control, RBAC. Okay, means what do you mean by the role based access control? Role based access control is nothing. The users need the permissions according his need of permissions. If I assign the role, it's called the role based access control. The access control, basically you are creating your users and you are allowing them that permissions as per his role defined in the organization. It's called the access based role based access control. And the second thing is administrative units. Assign administrative unit. If you click on it, any kind of administrative you want to do any such as application, you can search here, you can do that. Now groups. Group is so generally groups many where you can create, let's say cloud only groups for a for a specific application access. You can create cloud only groups for any kind of on-prem group. Generally what I'm telling you, this is for the separate. That is a Active Directory, local Active Directory authentication. This is a Azure Active Directory authentication. But in Azure Active Directory there is a options. What options? It's called AD Sync, Azure AD Sync. So in that case, what happened? This is my on-premise Active Directory, and this is my cloud Active Directory, right? In middle of that, there is the options. It's called Azure AD Sync. In middle of them, there is a call Azure AD Sync, right? In Azure AD Sync, it's an application. Basically, it's an application. It should not be installed any on-premises domain controller. It should be installed is a on-premises any member servers that have the part of this domain, right? And Azure Active Directory Sync is installed on it. Now what AD Sync will work? Once the sync established means the connection has been established from on-premises to cloud as well as cloud to on-premises. So in that case, what happened? Any of the users has joined this organization. After, if we not any kind of rules or any kind of sync, because generally by default all users, all groups, all your identity will be synced to Azure. Let's say I am creating one users, okay? I'm creating one users, and this users, after we create that users, user will automatically sync through AAD Connect and then cloud. So that means users on premises is available as well as cloud also available. That users I have created in Bhupender, that users is created on cloud, not in on-premises AD. Now whenever I'll show you the practicals, AAD Connect practicals, in this system scenario I can show you, I will create one users in the on-premises AD and that users will sync and then it will be available on cloud, right? Through AAD Connect. Now in through AAD Connect, there is a calls inbound rules, there is a call outbound rules, and middle of that there is a options called metaverse. So generally whatever the directory for on-premises sites that may not same in Azure sites. So let's say one user sync here and this users come here, right? Now this user certain have attributes, different attributes. Now user attribute and Azure attributes will be it's a totally difference, not the similar altogether. Some is similar but some is not. In phase of metaverse, it's actually what they do, they will do some modification with these users. Now these users will be synced properly and then these users will be moved to outbound, and from there this user available on cloud, right? So this is actually Azure AD Sync will do. So in Azure AD Sync generally you have to manage in terms of users. Let's say your job will come, administrator job will comes that I need a couple of users to be on only, let's say you have an organization in Active Directory 500 users. Now you don't want that 500 users to be on board or synced to the Azure Active Directory. In that case you need only the IT guys, those are the IT guys, only those particular users can sync. So in that case you can define that user in the detail sections, mention that this is the IT, and based on this attribute you can filter out here, and only 20 IT guy you can able to sync there. This is all together settings that has been done to Azure AD Sync. Clear?
Yes.
All together I will show you the practical, don't worry, just understand the theory concept. Okay, so in this Azure AD Sync connections, you need have a good database options, because it's require SQL servers, it's require AAD tools, applications, and that should be installed on a member server. Do not install on a domain controller. If you install on a domain controller, it will be, maybe somehow it is crashed, your domain controller will be crashed, right? So that is how now the users will be, available on cloud. Clear? Now,
Yes.
let's say there is an options called multi-factor authentication. What do you mean by the MFA? MFA means like, sometime you, once you are trying to log in your Outlook or something, Office 365 Access, you have to put your OTP, you have to put your, MFA. Do you have the authentication app in your mobile?
Yes.
That means your users is MFA enabled. Now from this options you can select that users, and you can do the multi-factor enabled. If you click on this enabled options, then these users will have the multi-factor authentication, right? So this is how actually MFA is work. Clear? So there's option select users, and then you have two options enabled. Now enable multi-factor. Once I click on this enable multi-factor authentication, then you will, once you're trying to log in, you will have to put your two-factor authentication, like code or phone code or OTP, something like that. Clear?
Yes.
Perfect. So this is actually the basic things of Azure Active Directory users, right? And from this you can, like, users, if I delete that, okay, now here in users there is a user option, and there is a options also group as well. So now if you want to create any cloud only group for this, generally what purpose we group need? Group we generally need, let's say I'm telling you, that's one of the applications here, and it is very mandatory that whenever the users logged in, or whenever you have joined any organizations, you need have access for your daily timesheets, right? So how many users you can give them one-to-one access? Is this possible? It is not at all possible, because your organization right now have 800 employees. Tomorrow it will be 2000, and the next day after tomorrow it will be 4000. It's day by gradually increased. How will you do that? It's not yet possible, right? So in that scenario, the group will playing the huge role. That means instead of any specific users access, you will have a groups. Either let's say it's the on-premises groups, or if that application hosted on cloud base, then it will be a cloud only groups. Now if you assign any group on a specific application, what will be the benefit? Benefit is that after you create this group purpose for this specific application access, later on you can added any users inside these groups. He will have access that application. Once you kick them off, you will have lose the application. Now it's quite similar for you. Now users will join or user will leave, no matter. Just once you remove all this group from this particular users, at the same point in time, you will lose all access. Whenever you have added the user into any groups, the same point in time you have the access. So I'm creating one of the groups in Azure. My application name will be, it's a security groups. Group name will be proxy app. Somehow this is for the your timesheet, like that. Group discussion is for timesheet. And now if I create these groups, and then you can have options to add. If I click on this groups, and here now inside of that you can decide the owner as well. So if I supposed to set my owner, that is Siddharth is the owner of these groups. So only Siddharth can able to add this member here. Now Siddharth only add members, that is Bhupender. Clear? Now Bhupender is the part of this proxy groups. Okay. Now if I go to the here and users, Bhupender is the part of this proxy groups. Now if I go to the, he's a part of, now wherever the proxy group maps, he have automatically access. Is that clear or not?
Sorry, can you please repeat the last line?
Yes. Now I am telling, whenever that proxy group assign, whenever any such applications, that Bhupender will have automatically access.
Okay.
Clear?
Yes.
Perfect. So this is the basic overview and dashboard of Active Directory. So now if I users, now I'm going to delete this users. Okay, but before that I have to, again I'll show you the MFA, don't worry, because whenever because today is just for the basic demo of Active Directory, because I have to create the AAG connect, then I'll show you the user have to sync here, then user authentication. Even I can give you the users details. You have to check that it will ask for the MFA. All those stuffs I will do this practical. So don't worry. So right now I'm going to delete these users. And the same ways there is a group options. I have to delete that proxy group as well. Perfect. Now here, apart from this, there is the options, let's say any of the computer, let's say I'm telling you, whenever you let's say you have joined the organization, they have given you the devices like laptop or desktops. Now after you install these devices in your home, nowadays work from home, it's quite mandatory. So nowadays once you are trying to open this laptop or desktops, you have to log in your company sites, then somehow you have to register the devices. Am I right or not? That means company portal or company tenant, you have to register these machines. Okay, you have to register these machines. So now in this device options, your machine identity will be there. Now let's say if I am supposed to be Azure, I want to apply any policy for all this device. So from here I can apply the policy. Clear? Device settings also there, BitLocker keys also there. Any kind of policy I want to apply, it will be applied all my device installed devices. App registrations. App registration means here you can create applications. Let's say you have an on-premises application, and on-premises applications generally get SSO, single sign-on from ADFS, right? SSO means what? SSO means through domain users or domain login, you have to access your applications. Generally, application, whenever the application installed in your organization, it is a standby. That means any specific users able to log in with this generic account. But whenever you will enable the SSO, that means all that users, the domain users, can log in that applications and access it. It's called the SSO. It's done through the on-premises ADFS servers. So the same things, ADFS, you can replace ADFS and you can create your app on Azure. So in that case, app registration, you have applications, and if you create this app registration here, that means earlier what happened? Let's draw the picture. This is your application servers, and how will you access through? It's through ADFS, right? Let's say you are the users or the domain users. Now whenever you are trying to access this application, application will ask you the authentication token, right? Now in authentication token, you say no, I do not have authentication token. Then application directly contact to ADFS server and say that that users want to access my application. Do you have an authentication token? Then your ADFS server will have to verify your credential from the Active Directory, and Active Directory will have the reverse information. Yes, that user is our directory. You can give them token. Okay. So in token options, Active Directory ADFS will send them the token. Okay, and that users get access that applications. Now in middle of that, still it's okay. Still it is okay that my users get authenticate from this ADFS and get, but trust it, it is a basically on premises. On premises. Now what happen if this application, if this Azure AD, it's not into the pictures? In middle of that, there is a cloud identity come, because your app is registered on cloud, and this options, that even this option will not be applied, and he will not be verify your credential from Active Directory, because this users from Active Directory, your identity already available in Azure through AADC, right? Now here, if you create your application register on here, directly users will get verifications, all those stuffs, and then come here, application, do your MFA and all those stuffs, then he get the application access because your application hosted here. So in application there is a two types, through SAML base or through OAuth base. In normal cases, if we register any app here, it's called the OAuth basis. If we do for enterprise application, if we register this application, then it will be work as a SAML base, right? So this is my first day introductions for Active Directory, because day by day we'll do the practical, we'll understand the concept, we'll understand all those steps, right? So groups, nothing. So today I'll show you on-premises Active Directory, how it is built. First you have to learn it, on-premises Active Directory. Generally in Azure administration course, on-premises Active Directory domain controller not comes into the picture, but I'll show you so that your concept will be clear. Okay. So here in my VMware console, let me open it. I'll show you how we can create the on-premises Active Directory. So I'm building the server first, then I'll show you how we can promote as a domain controller.
Okay.
You can continue. I'm uploading.
Okay, so here through GUI I have to select Windows Server Standard. So this is my normal on-premises server. So guys, as I have already created, show you in cloud-based servers workstation, this is the on-premises servers. So I will create the domain controller on top of it. Domain controller is basically nothing. Domain controller is the servers with AD roles installed on it, and this role can hold the Active Directory database as well. You got my point? First I have installed the AD role inside of it, and that AD role will be become my domain and
controller.
Domain, and that domain will hold by this particular server. It's called the domain controller, right? And this domain will verify user identity, as simple as that. And for that only I need a couple of one of the machine as well. So let it clone. This is a C-Spray. It's a utility because I have cloned these two machines. So I have to reset the security ID, or else the machine will not be able to work in the same domain.
Okay.
That's it. Any of the machine you have to change the C-Spray. Either domain controller, either member server.
Okay.
Once you reset the ID and password, it will be everything will be changed. You have to do some logon ID. This is my logon local administrator password. I'm giving this by local administrator password. It's not the domain password.
Okay.
Must have them the same network. So I'm just adding them in the VNet 01. Now I'm giving them powering on. Fine, let him power on. Meanwhile, I'll just prepare this machine for the domain controller, because so I have to delete the local user because it will create a hell lot of problems later on. So I'm just deleting this users. This is my local local users, okay, which is not gonna do anything else. Perfect. So now, as I told, domain controller is the Windows machines, and it's the same. Windows server and domain controller both is the same. Nothing, there is a problem. So here I have to put the IP address first. And side by side I have to disable the firewall. Okay, let him firewall, I'll disable later on. So now, as I told you, this is a Windows server. This is now still now these two are the same. There is nothing different, but the difference will come whenever we will install this ADDS role. Okay, so this is my Active Directory domain services. If I install this role, then the role will be installed, but if you keep them installed in the machines, it will not still no longer perform in Active Directory until and unless you are configured this role. Okay.
Okay.
So before I promote this role from the here, I have to change the computer name, because it is showing now by default Microsoft name, so it is very create a problem later on. So I'll just change the computer name. So guys, I'm just telling you one thing, that I have a one student group. there is a huge my students, those who are my for Windows Server Active Directory, and I just adding both of you in that particular groups, okay, so that you will get the job updates, you will get the any kind of technologies updates, all those stuffs will keep on discussed there, okay. So this group is very segregated, and I'm supposed to be forward to send any kind, because that groups I will keep often sending the dumps, books, whatever it is. So you guys are sometime get these all facilities. So that's why today onwards I will add it to you in the server technologies group. Okay, that is my official group for this all the students. So
Okay, thank you.
okay, yeah. Sometimes I forget to provide the updates on that particular group. So keep the delete these groups, and you will be part of this my student groups. Fine, my domain controller name has been changed. Then I will go to the server, server manager options. And the server manager options, I have options. This notification is coming. So in that, if I click on it, notification, to promote this server to a domain controller. Okay. So add new. I'm going to create the add new forest. The forest, let's say it's a hp.com. Now domain is creating with the name of HP. You got my point? Domain is creating with the name of HP.
Inside domain we can create forest, correct?
Exactly. The forest is going to create, because your first domain will be your forest. Always remember, your first domain you use your forest. So my first domain is HP. HP is my forest. Now inside this HP, I can create uk.hp, us.hp, uae.hp. So US, UK, UAE, these are the domain which is following the same naming space, because this is a core part of Active Directory. If you guys join the Active Directory courses, you will learn in depth of Active Directory. This is very interesting course, guys. Active Directory, without Active Directory, organization is totally down. In case your Active Directory is not work, you will not be able to log in your organization. So Active Directory is very mandatory. If you learn Active Directory side by side as well, you will be a more prospect. Okay, so it is now gonna promote it to a domain controller. So let's see, you know that's the HP administrator already created HP slash, that means domain slash the administrator. Okay, so now what happened? If I open the directory, Active Directory, dsa.msc, now I'm create one users like that type of user in Azure Directory, and now it is from this local Active Directory. From here I'm creating a user. Okay.
Okay.
So Saurabh D is the domain users. Now see, Saurabh is the domain users. You got my point? And also Saurabh is the part of hp.com domain. Now I will show you. Okay, but before that I have to register this member server to my Active Directory, because or else I will not be supposed to log in Saurabh in the DC, because Saurabh is not the domain administrator, so he is a normal user. So I'm gonna first register this machine with my local Active Directory. For that only, what I supposed to do, just a sec. Okay, so what I need to do, I will register these machines to my domain. That means domain controller. Domain name is hp.com. Inside this hp.com, there is nothing, any device registered, any computer registered. I am gonna show you that machine should be registered in the Active Directory. Okay, so for that only I have to provide that IP address along with domain controller DNS. This should have 11 because 10 is my domain controller address, so this will be a work as a DNS. Okay, perfect. Now firewall comes into the picture. If I not disable the firewall, it will create a hell lot of trouble. Sorry, firewall.cpl. Good. Now I'm just adding this machine to the domain. Why I'm telling you all those stuff is because this is not include your courses, but I'm showing you first learn this on-premises little bit of Active Directory, then it will be easier for you to understand the Azure Active Directory. Got my point?
Yes, yes. .com.
Okay, now this machine is now part of my domain. So now I will show you that Saurav can able to log in, whereas Bhupender can't. So the domain is coming automatically HP. Your Saurav identity check and he give them access to access this machine. Now Saurav is able to working. If I trying to log in with Bhupender, username and password is not is incorrect, try again. Why? Because domain, its domain hp.com verify that users list Bhupender not here,
Available, correct.
and that is called identity. That is called identity providers or identity access. You got my point?
Yes,
So the
yes, yes.
same thing will do by Azure identity as well, and this is on-premise identity and then Azure identity. Now next day I will show you in this member of computers I will install the AAD Connect and I will create user here. That user will be available on cloud. Okay. Okay, one more things. Next week I will be probably I will have some transition demo purpose. I will be some other training institutes. So probably this week not be available, and then later on this week we will discuss about the AAD Connect. Okay.
Okay, no issue.
Perfect. Thank you guys. I'm sending.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, Tata.
Okay.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Yeah.